to party, to have fun, you see. I got different hobbies, and that's all I need. Some say life is boring, but I disagree. I wake up and live my dream. Someday soon, I'm gonna make it. Yeah, all hard work's gonna be worth it. Ooh, everyone who didn't believe it, they don't know what they. I'm gonna try, gonna try, gonna try. Work till I die, till I die, till I die.
Never come back from that. Just to know that the last words my baby ever said to me was, "See you later, Ma, I love you." And to only come to terms with myself to know that later actually meant see you later. I can't get that back. I feel like I'm just in a dark cloud, a dark bubble that I can never come out of. You know, like, I'm still numb from the fact. Like, I know he gone. I know it's finna be 2 years he's gone, but, like, it still does real to me. If they are indicted on a hate crime, the death penalty is a possibility of punishment. And as harsh as it may sound, I would love to sit side by side with their parents and watch their children die.
Kedarie Johnson was a gender fluid teen whose life was taken. A lot of people believe in protection to one's self-image, to one's. All too often, people lose their lives over things that was just unnecessary. No one ever had to know. You could have just stopped dealing with him, walked away. Why take her life? This family moved from Chicago to a small town in Iowa called Burlington. The reason for the move was basically because Chicago is a really dangerous area. A lot of gun violence, a lot of things. Just being a parent, you don't want your child around. Just feeling as though, I'm sure, moving from shelter to shelter, that they would have a better life in a small town filled with families and probably have a better start. So she moved her family to Iowa. She had 3 children, another boy and a girl, who respected Kedarie very, very, very much. They loved him. They accepted him for who he was. His gender fluidity, they had no problem with it. Cedric, Nidra, and Kedarie are siblings, and they were super. As a matter of fact, Cedric recalled the time where he had stolen a candy bar from a store, and the ladies chasing him home, the cops chasing him home, and he gets home and his mom's like, "What's going on?" And the cop tells her, "Oh, he's stealing, he took this candy bar from the store." And so Cedric's like, "No, Kedarie did it," but Kedarie wasn't there. And and things went on during the day, and when Kedarie got home, he got a whooping. And he got put in a corner to stand in the corner or whatever. He got punished, and while standing in the corner he was eating some chips, and Cedric asked Kedarie for some of his chips, and Kedarie said sure and gave him some chips. So he never was mad. He wasn't the type to hold grudges, and he never told on his brother, and his brother really 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 loved him. His sister informed uh when she was giving her interview that she would call him whatever he felt that day. You know, he dressed feminine. It was she. He dressed, with the jeans and the big tee. He was just Kedarie, and whatever way he felt comfortable, that's what his family went with. When you hear that, you have to feel like, why him?
Kedarie Johnson was a popular student at Burlington High School. Shonda Campbell was a friend and mentor to Kedarie and remembers his funeral.
I spoke, and it wasn't really sad, because you spoke about the things that made him make everybody else happy. How he made everyone laugh, how he had such a caring and compassionate heart. I would always play Leanne Rhymes because I like that song. And he took some words from, I Hope You Dance, because that's what he was always doing, singing and dancing and performing. If the heavens up above more than just a passing glance, and when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. And I'm going to take that with me. I hope you dance, continue dancing for Kedarie. By the time that the service was over with, his family and really close friends up in the front were, singing and dancing like their goodbye to him as they were taking that casket out of here.
Why him? Why her? Why was your pride enough to take someone's life because you assumed something? I continue. Now, Kedarie, she recalled the time this day of what happened was extremely tragic. If you see me keep looking down, I have notes. Didn't do a memory thing this time, so yeah, if you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at. Okay, so his mom recalls the time he came home hurt from a situation from school he had gotten into it. Now, Kedarie was a really bright light. He was very loud, rambunctious, outstanding student, and very, very just out there. You know what I mean? Like, unapologetically himself. And that's one of the things that people loved but also hated about him. Now, with everyone who loved Kedarie, there were some people, I'm sure, that didn't agree with who he was. So this one particular day, he had gotten into it with someone, and he had tossed a pick, I believe, at this person, and they began to squabble. It got serious. They were both sent to the principal's office, and Kedarie was expelled. Now, he called his mom to let her know what was going on and how everything had transpired, and she told Kedarie to go home. Go home, Kedarie. I'm worried about you. I don't want anything to happen to you. Just go home and wait for me to get home, you know? And like a regular teenager, like any other teenager, we choose to do what we want. So Kedarie decided to go to a local hi-fi. A hi-fi where he could access the Wi-Fi and get online, probably to go on Facebook or whatever to do some homework. So basically, that's what he did. When he left the hi-fi, which was around like 10 p.m., he was leaving on his own. There was no one with him. He was basically by himself. Said the police from the footage, said that he was leaving on his own. He was of everything they seen, he was alone. Even after that, though, no one really knew what happened after he left the hi-fi, because there was no other footage as far as the police was concerned. So, come to find out, one of her friends came forward to lend some information to what happened. So, come to find out, she had walked to a friend's house about, um, from what she said, that she walked to the friend's house about 2 blocks away. So while at the friend's house, this friend, they would, share clothes like normal friend things that girls do. They would exchange clothes. They would, you know what I mean, sit there, talk, gossip about the day. So that's basically what they were doing. During that moment, she looked kind of scared. Her face, got a little maybe worried looking, a little feared. So her friend asked her what was wrong, and she said, "Hey, go to the window, look outside, there's a car." And she looked outside, she said, "Yeah, those guys are following me," or whatever. And she's like, "They're following you?" And she's like, "Yeah," or whatever. And sure enough, there was a car sitting outside. So she asked them, like, "Who is that? Who is that out there?" So she's like, "Oh, he's following me. His name is Lemaine or LeMay or whatever." So she's like, "Well, my mom, she can't take you home. She has no way right now. Do you want me to walk you home? Because, I'll take the dog and I'll walk you home." So Kedarie's like, "No, I got it. You know what I mean? I'll go," or whatever the case may be. So she left her house. She said Kedarie started walking, and not too long after Kedarie started walking, the car eventually left too. So the cops needed more information. They needed to go back to square one. They needed to get more information. So they got more information. They got the footage from outside the hi-fi, and sure enough, as Kedarie's walking into the hi-fi, this red car that was also seen at the friend's house was pulling in right after Kedarie had went into the hi-fi. Funny thing about that, though, is that they never really paid Kedarie any type of attention on the inside. Never looked at Kedarie. Never, you know what I mean, interacted with Kedarie. But as soon as Kedarie left after 10, they had followed her off. So they had to find out who are these guys. They had a clear picture because the driver had pulled up. Got second man had walked up from wherever he was walking up from. So when he walked up, they met up or whatever. They were there until Kedarie left. So they found out that these men were from St. Louis. Yeah. And so they had to find out what was going on or whatever. Come to find out, these men were also at the hi-fi. Now when the body was found, people in the area where her body was found had called the police, and when they called the police, they let them know that they had heard about 7 to 9. When Kedarie's body was found, though, he looked like he had been dragged, and there was a really, really, really strong smell of bleach, and his shirt was like rolled up, like as a result of the dragging. His pants were pulled down, exposed, and it was just a really horrific scene. It looked personal. It looked like someone really wanted him hurt. So come to find out, the main character was a Jorge, and Duran, I believe the second guy's name was. A couple weeks they had found the Duran character in Missouri, and a a car chase ensued, and he crashed into a cop car and started to run, and they eventually caught him and brought him in for questioning, and immediately he started to sing like a canary. So he's like, well, we seen her and we thought she was beautiful or whatever the case may be. So we offered her a ride to where she was going. Immediately noticed that she was interested in Jorge. So I asked him to drop me off at a friend's house, and they could have the rest of the night, to spend time with. Really interested in me, sir. So come to find out, this friend they interviewed, and he was never there. So basically, you lie. Maybe a couple weeks later, Jorge was caught, and he didn't want to. He didn't want to talk. He didn't speak. He didn't say anything about it. He didn't want to have a conversation, anything in that matter. And they couldn't believe anything Jerron said because he's already lied. So basically, they took them to court with what they had, and I mean, the evidence spoke volumes. I mean, besides the circumstantial that her friend seen your car, the surveillance footage showed your car. Then they seen this car. Now, that's what I forgot. Like, the cops got a search warrant, after everything went down and all the information went out, and they went out to the house that they were staying at because, like I said, they were from Saint and they were in Iowa. And the person's house that they were staying at, or whatever the case may be, the cops went there, and they were looking all through the window because when they showed up, no one would answer the door. So they're looking all around in the windows or whatever the case may be, and lo and behold, look inside the garage, and there's the car. And I didn't say it, but when Kedarie was found, there were trash bags around her head, God. And they had seen maybe like similar garbage bags in the garage, in the garbage can or whatever, what looked similar. So that was cause for them to get the search warrant, and in doing so, they were able to confiscate the car and things like that. So I mean, it was soft. The people were caught, thank God. But all too often, there are transgender or either gender fluid or gay men or gay women, lesbian women attacked just for being who they are. And it hits home for me because I am a bisexual woman, and I feel as though that it's truly not fair that they can't be exactly who they are and not risk their lives going outside every single day. And to be black and trans, it's almost like you have a target on your back. To be black and gender fluid, to be black and anything other than church going or booty popping or cisgendered is we have an issue, because baby, just because you have a problem with it don't mean it's going to stop existing. I am married to a man, but that doesn't stop me from being attracted to women. You like what you like, okay? And I truly do have an issue when someone cannot be themselves fully and wholeheartedly without the criticism of everyone. Sit back and look at yourselves before you judge. Because I promise you there'll be something to stop you in your tracks about yourself. Rest well, Kedarie. You will not be forgotten. I'm sure you are sorely missed by your mom, your sister, and your brother, your community of friends that loved you, and now me. So until next time, this is Truth versus Perception. I am Tashana. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. I mean, if you don't, I'll understand. But if you do, then I'm talking to you. I shall return. Until later, doll. Bye.